On all my videos, I give away an Amazon gift card. To find out how to win, please like, comment, and subscribe. And at the end of the video, I will tell how to win.
The day after the League of Villains attacked the Academy, the news reported the capture of 72 villains involved in the incident. All Might's mentor, Gran Torino, received a letter from All Might detailing Deku's attempt to save a man with his bare hands. All Might considered sending Deku to Gran Torino for training. Detective Tsukachi, in a teacher's meeting, discussed the escape of Shigaraki and Kurojiri. All Might speculated that the attack was a demonstration of the League of Villains' power, while the headmaster believed someone might be orchestrating everything. The following day, during the morning meeting, Aizawa appeared bandaged and announced the upcoming UA Sports Festival, where the strongest heroes would be watching. During lunch, Deku, Ida, and Uraraka shared their goals for becoming heroes. Uraraka sought to earn money for her financially struggling family. Ida aimed to emulate his older brother Ingenium, and Deku simply aspired to be a hero. All Might appeared and invited Deku to share a meal, inadvertently revealing his special attention to Deku. As they ate, Deku shared his experience of hitting Nomu without harming his arm, earning praise from All Might. All Might encouraged him to showcase his full strength at the upcoming festival to reveal the new symbol of peace. The students of Class 1 had become popular after the park battle, attracting a crowd eager to learn more about their quirks. The day of the festival arrived, and as the students waited, Todoroki approached Deku, doubting his ability to win despite attracting All Might's attention. Undeterred, Deku was determined to give it his all. The festival kicked off with President Mech announcing the first-year participants. Hero Midnight invited Bakugo to the stage to make a speech, where he declared his intent to be number 1. Midnight then announced the first stage, the steeplechase, explaining that virtually anything was allowed. Chaos ensued as participants competed fiercely. Todoroki briefly froze one of the robots, obstructing the path, while Bakugo and others used their quirks to soar over the obstacles. In the steeplechase stage, Deku improvised a shield from a piece of iron and alongside Yoirozu, took down several robots. Todoroki emerged as the first with Bakugo closely following. Deku used his shield to climb over the canyon, while the next obstacle, a minefield, posed a challenge. Mines could disable participants temporarily, but Bakugo engaged Todoroki in a running fight. Observing Bakugo flying over mines, Deku gathered them into a pit, using a blast wave and his shield to propel himself towards the finish line. Ultimately, Deku overtook everyone, with Bakugo and Todoroki closely trailing. He slammed his shield, creating a wave that propelled him further, securing first place. Moving to the second stage, the Battle of the Chariot, participants formed teams of 2 to 4. Each team had a rider with a headband indicating their total points from the first stage. The objective was to acquire the headbands from other teams. Deku, with 10 million points, became a target. While many avoided him, Uraraka, Ida, and Tokoyami joined his team. As the race began, everyone targeted Deku's chariot. Utilizing Mei's device and Uraraka's weightlessness, Deku soared away, shielded by Tokoyami's shadow. The preliminary results showed that everyone from Class A except Deku had 0 points. Bakugo, frustrated, altered the plan, deciding to first take points from other classes before dealing with Deku. In a heated confrontation, Bakugo targeted Monoma, who managed to copy Bakugo's quirk. Bakugo, determined to be first, aimed to claim all the headbands from Monoma's team. As Todoroki catches up with Deku, determined to claim the 10 million points, others join the pursuit. Todoroki's team uses Kamari's electricity to electrocute and freeze their opponents. Despite multiple attacks, Deku skillfully evades them. Ida activates his turbojet boost, propelling their chariot towards Deku. In a quick maneuver, Deku uses his power to push Todoroki's arm back and snatch the 10 million headband. However, Todoroki outmaneuvers him and grabs the 70-point headband just before time runs out. Results of the second stage reveal Todoroki's team securing first place, followed by Bakugo's team in second, Shinso's team in third, and Deku's team in fourth, thanks to Tokoyami's last-minute contribution. During lunch, Todoroki confronts Deku, speculating on their potential connection due to their similar powers. Although Deku denies any familial ties to All Might, Todoroki senses a hidden connection. Todoroki shares the difficult relationship he has with his father, Endeavor, revealing that he never used his left side fire. Meanwhile, All Might encounters Endeavor and questions how he trained Todoroki. However, Endeavor, refusing to engage in conversation with his rival, focuses on the upcoming fights. The final stage begins with 60 teams participating in one-on-one battles determined by lot. 2 teams refuse to compete against Shinso due to his mind control ability, prompting Cementos to replace them with Tetsu's team. In the first match, Deku faces Shinso. The goal is to either throw the opponent out of the arena or knock them out. Shinso quickly gains an advantage by insulting Deku, provoking a reaction that allows him to take control of Deku's body. Shinso orders Deku out of the arena, leaving everyone shocked. In the darkness, Deku sees faces with burning eyes and manages to move his fingers. Using force, Deku breaks free from Shinso's control, surprising everyone. Despite not understanding the mysterious faces with glowing eyes he saw, Deku defeats Shinso by slamming him into the ground. Granny heals Deku's fingers and shares with All Might his experience of encountering those faces, speculating they might be the souls of previous one for all users. All Might, unfamiliar with such encounters, suggests it might be related to self-control. Meanwhile, Todoroki unexpectedly encounters his father, Endeavor. The heated exchange reveals Todoroki's refusal to use his fiery side, relying solely on his mother's strength to win. The second match between Todoroki and Shiro begins. In a fit of anger after talking with his father, Todoroki unleashes a powerful technique, freezing Shiro and the stadium floor. The next matches unfold: Kaminari versus Shiozaki, where Shiozaki wins by using her vines, Ida versus Mei, ending with Ida chasing Mai out of the arena in a comical chase. Aoyama versus Ishido, with Ishido using acid and a punch to knock out Aoyama. Tokoyami versus Yoyorozu, where Tokoyami easily pushes Yoyorozu out of the arena. Tetsu versus Kirishima, resulting in a draw, and Uraraka versus Bakugo, with Bakugo emerging as the winner. Deku, encountering Endeavor in the hallway, receives praise for his performance and is encouraged to aim for surpassing All Might. Endeavor anticipates the day when his son, Todoroki, will surpass the symbol of peace. All participants recover their strength for the quarterfinals. Todoroki attacks Deku with ice, but Deku counters by breaking through the ice with his finger. Deku aims to understand Todoroki's weaknesses, realizing that he is shaking from the cold. Despite Todoroki's anger, Deku encourages him to use his fire side as he has not been using his full power due to a grudge. Todoroki recalls a traumatic incident from his past involving his mother and realizes that Deku has been trying to help him. In the intense battle, Todoroki attacks Deku, but Deku counters with his broken arm. The judges attempt to intervene, but Deku, determined, destroys the arena, resulting in him flying out, and Todoroki wins the match. After the fight, Todoroki is approached by his father, Endeavor, who invites him to his agency, but Todoroki refuses, as he has not forgiven his father. Ida's fight against Shiozaki begins, with Ida easily pushing his opponent out of the arena and securing a victory. Meanwhile, Granny partially restores Deku's bones through an operation, leaving him with a scar on his right arm. Despite numerous injuries, Deku suggests to All Might that he choose another successor, but All Might believes in Deku's potential. During a mission, Ingenium encounters Chizome Akaguro, who goes on a rampage, destroying heroes and smashing Ingenium to pieces. Bakugo and Kirishima face off in the next fight, where Bakugo realizes Kirishima's weakness and prolonged quirk usage, securing his place in the semifinals. In the semifinals, Todoroki faces Ida, who activates his full power to push Todoroki out of the arena in 10 seconds. However, Todoroki stops himself using his ice, ultimately advancing to the final. In the other semifinal, Bakugo defeats Tokoyami with a flash grenade, securing his spot in the final. The final match is between Bakugo and Todoroki. Todoroki attacks first, freezing Bakugo in half of the arena. Despite Bakugo's counterattack, Todoroki stops himself with ice. Bakugo urges Todoroki to use his fire side and lands a powerful blow, destroying the arena floor. Bakugo is declared the winner, and the awards ceremony commences with All Might distributing rewards to the winners. Bakugo takes first place, Todoroki second, and Tokoyami and Ida share third place. In class, Azala announces a special session for students to pick their hero names. Prior to this, the number of hero agency invitations is displayed. Todoroki gets over 4,000 invitations, and Bakugo receives none due to his exuberant nature. Each student chooses a hero name. Azawa discusses future internships, distributing forms with a 2-day deadline. Meanwhile, Cementos and All Might process the invitations. They find one for Deku, surprising All Might. It's an invitation to the Gran Torino Academy, and All Might informs Deku that his former teacher from there knows about One for All and chose Deku. The class learns about an attack on Ida's brother, a villain causing havoc, having already harmed 17 heroes and injured 23. Ida chooses an internship at the Hozu agency, where his brother worked. Azawa provides hero costumes and sends students for internships. Deku goes to the Gran Torino agency, finding his teacher on the floor surrounded by ketchup from a dropped sausage. Gran Torino, energetic, asks Deku to demonstrate his strength. Deku dons his new suit, and after a comedic misunderstanding, is asked to attack with One for All. Gran Torino quickly moves, and despite Deku's efforts, he's dropped to the ground. Gran Torino then leaves for food, leaving Deku to clean up. Meanwhile, Stain is discovered by Kurogiri and Shigaraki, who invite him to join the League of Villains to confront heroes and students. Stain bluntly declines, using his quirk to immobilize the villains and requests to be taken back to the Hozu area. After the teleportation, Stain goes on a solo hunt, prompting Shigaraki and Kurogiri to realize he only targets what he deems unworthy heroes. They decide not to interfere and then teleport 3 Nomu to wreak havoc in the city. As the heroes undergo training in various academies the next day, Deku receives assistance in his training from an unexpected source, microwave oven. This leads to a revelation called 1 for all full power coverage. Gran Torino offers immediate practice, giving Deku 3 minutes to land a hit. Despite taking all the blows, Deku impresses the old man, earning praise for his remarkable progress in just 1 day. Shukachi visits All Might's school, revealing that Nomu is linked to an instigator. They identify Nomu as a former criminal, discovering genes from 4 people mixed in him, resulting in 4 quirks. Shukachi suggests someone who could transfer power may be involved. Meanwhile, Deku is dispatched to combat evil, passing near Hozu where Ida and the hero manual patrol. Recognizing Ida's desire for revenge, Deku warns him about the law prohibiting heroes from using their quirks for personal revenge. Ida pretends to understand but still plans to carry out his revenge. As Deku and Gran Torino pass through Hozu, their train is suddenly attacked by Nomu. Gran Torino swiftly grabs Nomu and flies away from the train, prompting Deku to follow. Ida and Manuel also witness the explosions and head to the scene. On the way, Ida turns into an alley where he encounters Stain. Despite Ida's intention to avenge his brother, Stain decides to eliminate him. Stain effortlessly immobilizes Ida and prepares to deliver a finishing blow. In parallel to these events, Deku encounters 2 more Nomu fighting heroes. Upon learning that the manual was searching for Ida, Deku realizes Ida is seeking revenge and goes after him. In the alley, he finds Ida and Stain, activating his full cover to protect Ida. Stain warns Deku to leave, but Deku skillfully sends an SMS to nearby heroes about their location and attacks Stain. Despite injuring Deku and paralyzing him, Todoroki arrives and forces Stain away with fire. In the ensuing battle, Todoroki defends against Stain's attacks but sustains arm damage. Deku reappears, revealing his unique resistance to Stain's paralysis due to his first blood type. Together with Todoroki, they take turns attacking Stain, but Deku gets paralyzed again. Stain targets Todoroki, but Ida intervenes, saving Todoroki with teamwork. They successfully incapacitate Stain. Meanwhile, the pro hero faces the Nomu Gran Torino fought. Although the old man isn't out of action, he divides the Nomu and drops it. Gran Torino and the pro hero join the battle against the remaining 2 Nomu. After tying them up, they direct everyone to the location where Stain is captured. Gran Torino expresses relief that Deku is safe, and Ida apologizes for the incident. A flying Nomu suddenly appears and grabs Deku. However, the villain is released and destroys the Nomu, claiming it's for the benefit of the future high society. Due to broken ribs, the villain passes out. Gran Torino, the manual, and Hozu Police head Sorikame come to the hospital, thanking the heroes for their excellent work. Gran Torino informs All Might about a captured villain who opposed the perfect world ideology, believing he's connected to the League of Villains. He suggests this may attract a new wave of villains. Additionally, news breaks that All for One is back in action. Gran Torino urges All Might to tell Deku the whole truth about his quirk and himself. 2 days later, news about the villain destroying heroes spreads widely, with a video detailing his biography. Many join the hero killer movement, and a growing number of new villains express willingness to join the League of Villains. A few days later, Ida and Todoroki are released from the hospital. Meanwhile, All Might conducts basic training for the heroes, focusing on the rescue sprint. A field is dedicated to this exercise, and the goal is to save All Might, positioned in the center. The first group, led by Sarah, starts the sprint. Despite borrowing moves from Bakugo, Deku overtakes everyone and emerges as the winner. All Might, surprised by Deku's performance, invites him to his office. In the office, All Might shares the story of his origin and the emergence of One for All. As quirks began appearing, a man named All for One sought to dominate Japan, possessing the ability to take and transfer quirks. Choosing the path of evil, he became the leader of villains, passing quirks to trusted individuals. The unsuccessful transfers resulted in the creation of weak-willed dolls known as Nomu. All for One had a brother born without a quirk, possessing a strong sense of justice. The brother received a quirk to accumulate power and a hidden ability to transfer power to others. When these quirks merged, One for All was born, aiming to accumulate enough strength to stop All for One. All Might, eventually defeating All for One, revealed that the villains survived and established the League of Villains. All Might emphasizes that one day, Deku will have to face a great evil and defeat it. Inspired, Deku declares his readiness to save the world. All Might, wanting to share information about his fatal illness, is unable to do so. With a week left before the final exam at UA High School, Yoirozu volunteers to help with the written exam. She invites everyone to her house for the weekend. Meanwhile, B-class student Kendo mentions that the practical exam will involve fighting against robots. As the week passes, the written exam begins, lasting for 3 days. During the practical exam, Principal Nezu reveals that the rules have been changed to focus on one-on-one battles. Students are paired up based on their quirks and must face off against the teachers. The task is to handcuff the teacher within 30 minutes or escape through the exit gate. To ensure fairness, each teacher wears weights on their arms and legs equal to half their body weight. The first match features Kirishima and Sato against the teacher Cementos. Cementos promptly creates cement walls, and despite Kirishima and Sato showcasing their quirks, Cementos intentionally delays, knowing the limitations of their abilities. Exhausted, Kirishima and Sato pass out, resulting in a failed exam. Next, Asui and Tokoyami face off against Ectoplasm. Ectoplasm creates up to 30 clones and attacks, but Asui and Tokoyami manage to defend well. Ectoplasm summons a giant clone to take over their bodies. Tokoyami attempts to use his shadow, while Asui, using her handcuffs through the shadow, successfully handcuffs Ectoplasm, passing the exam. In the third match, Ojiro and Ida take on the teacher Snipe. Ida uses hyper-acceleration to spin Ojiro around and throws him towards the gate, allowing him to pass the exam. The fourth fight involves Todoroki and Yoirozu against Aizawa. Aizawa disables Todoroki's quirk and suspends him in the air. Yoirozu creates a flash grenade to save Todoroki, who escapes, leaving behind a wall of ice. Yoirozu creates ribbons from a nickel and titanium alloy, causing the alloy to harden when heated. They set up a trap and throw ribbons at Aizawa using a catapult, successfully tying him up and handcuffing him. The fifth fight between Kiriyama and Uraraka against 13 concludes with the students successfully passing the exam. In the next battle, Keminari and Ashido face off against the director. The director, who possesses a highly developed intellect despite being an animal, uses a crane to destroy the building and cover the students with rubble. Running out of time, Keminari and Ashido fail the exam. Moving on to the seventh fight, Jiro and Koji pair up against President Mick. The teacher attacks with sound waves, but Koji begins to control insects, enveloping President Mick and securing victory for the pair. Shoji and Toru's fight against Snipe is next. Shoji attacks with shots, while Toru, invisible, easily handcuffs the teacher. They successfully pass the exam. In the ninth battle, Mineta and Shoji face Midnight, who possesses the quirk to induce sleep with her body odor. Shoji tries to keep Mineta away from the spell, but he falls asleep. Midnight attacks Mineta with a whip, but he manages to throw his sticky balls, sticking her and allowing the team to pass the gate, passing the exam. The final fight features Deku and Bakugo against All Might. Initially, Deku attempts to discuss a plan with Bakugo, but Bakugo is against it and hits him. All Might intervenes, destroying a block. He requests them to treat him as a villain. Bakugo attacks, but All Might quickly subdues him. When Deku tries to attack, All Might throws Bakugo towards the gate. Bakugo, angered, refuses help from Deku. In the end, Deku and Bakugo manage to pass the exam. Meanwhile, villains seeking to join the League of Villains visit Shigaraki's cafe. Shigaraki, reluctant to receive them, asks Kurogiri to handle the guests. Kurogiri suggests listening to the newcomers first before taking any action. The first newcomer introduced is Toga, a psychopathic schoolgirl with a suspected criminal record. The second is Dabi, who expresses a desire to play the role of a villain in their league. However, when the third name, Stain, is mentioned, Shigaraki loses his temper and decides to destroy the newcomers. Kurogiri intervenes and redirects the blows, emphasizing the need for new villains at school. Aizawa informs everyone that they are all going to camp together. The students first go to the store, where Shoji finds Deku near the stalls and forces him to talk. Shigaraki reveals his hatred for the hero killer, and despite their differing motives, Deku doesn't fully understand Shigaraki's perspective. Shigaraki, using Stain's motives, plans to carry out his own agenda. Meanwhile, Uraraka approaches Deku and finds him with Shigaraki. Shigaraki, upon seeing Deku's girlfriend, decides to let him go but warns that if Deku goes after him, he will destroy many innocent people. Shigaraki leaves and Deku follows up with a question about what everyone needs for one. Shigaraki replies that no one knows, but he is sure that next time he will destroy Deku. After the incident, Uraraka reports it to the police, resulting in the temporary closure of the mall. Heroes and police investigate independently, but Shigaraki is not found. Deku is invited to the police station, where he speaks with investigator Nao Mitsukachi, who is investigating the League of Villains. Now, Mitsukachi thanks Deku for the information, and on the way out, they meet All Might and Deku's mom. They then drive home under police escort. Shukachi informs All Might that it was like a chance encounter with a villain, and they continue to watch the League of Villains. The Yui School's help will be needed in dealing with the situation. All Might looks to the investigator and his quick lead to find the League of Villains.
That's it from this video. Remember, for a chance to win that Amazon gift card, please like, subscribe, and comment down below the word subscribe.